One of my favorite childhood memories is when I was in kindergarten. Before school each morning, I'd go down and have breakfast with my mom, and she'd make me a big bowl of cereal, maybe some toast. We'd talk, and we'd share a cup of coffee. Now, why would somebody share a cup of coffee with a 7 year old? It's the same reason why my wife's mom would give her sips of wine when she was a kid. See, my mom is Cape Verdean, my wife's mom is French, and this was just a part of our culture that we would always take a moment to enjoy. But between K cups and $9 lattes, I feel like a lot of people are missing out on the delicacy of coffee. So, one of the easiest ways to reconnect with coffee as a cultural experience is how we make it at home. And one of the most simple and quickest method to make a really good cup of coffee is the French press. And you'll save a lot of money doing it over paying for a cup of coffee each day that's not as good, but a lot more expensive. So today we'll discuss how to make coffee using a French press. So it's a pretty simple contraption, and they're pretty inexpensive. This one was about 20 bucks at Walmart, and it does the job. So you'll start out like this, and you'll remove obviously the top to it, and then you'll take your grounds and put 8 tablespoons of coffee grounds into it. Now, for the freshest tasting coffee, you'll want to get coffee beans and invest in a grinder. But for the time being, a good selection of coffee grounds will be just as good. As a matter of fact, this is just Folgers coffee, and I think it tastes great using a French press. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so we have our coffee grounds in the glass French press. Now, this next step is key. First of all, the water that we'll add. If you have a tea kettle, that's great. I even just use a saucepan. But what's key is you want to add hot but not boiling water. And the other thing I like to do is I start off by just adding a little bit. And when you do that, you'll see it starts to bubble up and kind of aerate the coffee. It's funny, one thing people always say is coffee never tastes as good as it smells. And by doing that, it will start to release some of the aroma from the coffee that smells and can taste so good. So I just pour in a little bit to start with, and I just let it sit there for about 5 seconds. And then I'll pour in the rest of the water. Now, how much is not an exact measurement. For most cups of coffee, or for most French presses, there is a line that you want to go to. You want to get it right to that silver line. Obviously, if you want a stronger cup, which I do, I'll put in a little less water. All right, and this will usually make, if you put it up to the full line, about 8 cups. This will make maybe 3 at best because of the strength that I want it. So stronger coffee, less water. Once you've added however much water you want to put in there, replace the top, but don't plunge it yet. This is key. Let it steep. Now you've aerated it. You can see it starting to steam up. Some of that, of course, is the steam from the water, but hopefully a lot of that is to the aroma from the coffee that'll make it taste great. You can let it steep for about 4 minutes on average. Here, too, if you want slightly stronger coffee, you can let it steep for longer than that. Just remember, one of the drawbacks of using this as opposed to a regular drip machine is obviously it's not going to hold heat very well. So there is heat escaping, so you can't do it for too long or else you'll get a lukewarm cup of coffee. But you'll let 4 minutes or so go by, maybe a little longer if you want it stronger, and then you just press slowly. And this will allow the grounds to go down, and you'll have a very clean and very refined cup of coffee. Last step is just pour it. And enjoy. It really is delicious. I mean, coffee may always be an on-the-go necessity, but if you leave yourself just a few minutes each morning, you can really have time to start your day by enjoying a nice experience, the delicacy, of making a cup of coffee, and you'll save a little bit of money doing it too.